Hey everyone, and welcome back to another deep dive.
Glad to be back.
We got a big one today. A question on a lot of people's minds these days. Uh, is now the time to buy a house?
Yeah, it's a big decision for sure.
We're diving into some really fascinating insights today to help you kind of weigh those pros and cons. We've got some analysis from real estate data journalist Lance Lambert, and then some like boots on the ground expert advice from Michael Graf over at the Graf Group in Sarasota.
Sounds like a great mix to really get a handle on things.
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting contrast of perspectives too. So
Awesome.
let's just jump right in. All right, so Lambert really hits us with this like stark picture of the affordability challenge right now.
Okay.
So to get back to where things were, before the pandemic hit, we're talking like major shifts, either a 69% jump in U.S. incomes across the board,
Wow.
or a 41% drop in home prices,
Huge.
or a 4.3 percentage point drop in mortgage rates. So like none of those are really, small potatoes.
No, those are pretty big swings, and it kind of makes you stop and think, like, are any of those really likely to happen, especially anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, a 69% income jump, I mean, that's not
Yeah.
something you just see, every Tuesday.
Exactly, yeah. And if home prices crash by 41%, I think we'd probably have bigger problems on our hands than just, affordability.
Right. That would probably signal some major economic turmoil.
For sure. So it seems like maybe just waiting around for those things to happen,
Yeah.
maybe not the best strategy.
Exactly. And that's where I think Michael Graff's advice is super helpful because he really gets into, your individual circumstances. Like, how long are you actually planning to own this place?
Yeah, that time frame makes a huge difference, right?
Huge difference. So we've seen these rapid price increases recently, and, it might have made like flipping houses seem really appealing.
Yeah.
You buy it, fix it up, sell it quickly.
Yeah.
But Graff is basically saying those days are over for now. Trying to make a quick buck in this market could be, I love this quote, financially perilous.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. It's a good way to put it.
It really drives the point home.
It does.
Now, if you're in it for the long haul, Graff actually paints a little bit of a brighter picture. He reminds us that the average homeowner stays in their property for around 12 years.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And then this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so Altos research is showing a 30.6% year-over-year increase in the national housing inventory.
Wow. That's a pretty big jump.
That's a big jump. What does that tell us?
Well, to me, it says things are cooling down a bit. We're moving away from that crazy market we saw back in like 2021 with the bidding wars and houses selling like the second they were lifted.
Right.
So this means, buyers probably have a little more breathing room, more choices, less pressure to just jump on the first thing they see.
And maybe even some room to negotiate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a big one.
So if you're thinking long term and your finances are solid enough to weather those ups and downs that you're always going to have in the market over a decade or so,
Right.
Graff's saying now could actually be a good time to buy. But he's really stressing you got to look at the stability of your income. Can you handle it if things dip a little bit, in the short term?
Yeah, it's all about being prepared and knowing what you can realistically manage.
Exactly. And I love that Graff and his team, they really hammer home this idea that, you can look at the national trends, but you really need advice that's tailored to your specific situation and what's happening in your local market.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
national data can be a good starting point, but real estate is local, right?
It really is.
You got to know what's going on in your own backyard.
So bottom line for you, the listener, it's like, yeah, there are some affordability hurdles out there, no doubt, but more houses on the market and a long-term outlook, those could actually work in your favor.
Totally. It's a market that rewards patience and careful planning.
So think about your own timeline. Think about what you can afford. And maybe most importantly, don't be afraid to ask for help from the experts.
Couldn't agree more.
So now that we've taken this deep dive into the housing market, what's on your mind? What questions are popping up for you?
Yeah, hit us with them.
We're here to help you navigate this crazy world of real estate.
Let's do it.
Until next time, happy house hunting.
See ya.
Bye.